Well, self-proclaimed Prophet Shepherd Bushiri and his wife are expected back in court today for a bail hearing.
Well, they made a brief appearance on Monday before the case was postponed to allow the state to carry out further investigations.
Bushiri and his wife were arrested by the Hawks last Friday. They face fraud and money laundering charges.
Now, Tseko Mahi has been keeping an eye on this case for us in the middle of all the drama, Tseko. And it is drama morning, before we carry on. It's been quite dramatic. I mean, if we look at what we've seen at the court appearances and all of that, I mean, just your take and your feel when you've actually attended this, and before we get to the legalities of this.
You know, good morning. So his followers, Shepherd Bushiri's followers, are very, very loyal to him. On Monday, they filled that Visagie Street just in front of the Commercialized Crimes Court. And they just kept chanting, if there's no Major One, if he's not released, they call him Major One, then there will be no vote. And Papa. So if there's no Major One, then there's no vote. They are vowing not to vote this year if they do not release him. But today, we are expecting him to apply for bail. But it's quite interesting to see them come out in their numbers. When I was on church on Sunday, one of the spokesperson, Maynard, told me that they've requested that they don't go out to court, that the supporters don't go out to court because of the main issue that it is a legal matter. But there they were. They filled that street to capacity. They started praying at some point when he was sent back into custody. They started praying for him, and they also set fire onto the Hawks' car, spraying it with that water that they get from the church.
And then set it alight.
No, thank goodness. No, they didn't, because there's a huge police presence there, because they do expect some form of something to happen. I don't think they expected violence, but there was a very huge police presence.
So, Khwash, you said you were in church on Sunday.
Yes.
I mean, what happens there? He was in church, Bushiri is not? He's been arrested, of course?
Yeah, he was arrested on Friday.
So what happens in the church? I mean, how do they show support for him?
You know, so they've got different halls, because we know that it is at the Tshwane Event Center. So they've got different halls. The main hall is Hall J, and that's where he would then have preached. But it was full to capacity, about 7,000 people just in that one hall. And then they've got another tent where there's other people that go into there. They call it an overflow. And that particular area can take about 10,000, 12,000 people. So that's just the two places. There was another hall, Hall L, that also had some people there as well. So a large support for people. They pray, they sing, they are told what their theme is for the year, and then they work around that with the Bible verses.
I know you're going to court because of the bail application, and that's what is in the news. But what's fascinating is that you said it's in an event center. So this church doesn't have its own building. It rents a space at the Tshwane Event Center. So somebody in the municipality of Tshwane or somewhere is getting paid for this.
Yes, because now the Tshwane Event Center is owned by Twabek. So that particular company is the one that they're renting the space out from. But they were told by the CRL Commission that they need to find their own building. They need to have their own building as soon as possible, specifically because of what happened with that stampede.
Yeah, that would make sense. For somebody who has a private jet, who buys a 6-year-old daughter a Maserati, who dresses like he does, calling himself a man of God, claiming to be a prophet, not to have his own church building, begs a big question.
It does, and I think that's why the Hawks also got involved and actually arrested them on Friday for fraud and money laundering charges, because they have, Hangwani Mulawuzi was saying that they've got information that they actually, that there's money being shipped from South Africa to Malawi, which is Bushiri's country of birth. So there's money that's being shipped there, and they just need to investigate and make sure that everything is going according to plan and it's actually legal.
So we could expect more arrests then in this case.
Yes.
So we spoke about the supporters. You've seen him. What's he like? Tell us the feeling you got, and just, you know, what was he like with all of these people crying and calling for him and praying for him? And
you know, Yuveka, the strange thing was that we didn't even see him go into court, right? We didn't, and we saw him drive out when he was being taken back into custody. But at the CRL Commission, we do know that there were a few people outside the commission, and he's got a very closed-off demeanor, so to speak. He's very, not cold, but I think maybe it's just because he needs to portray that he's actually here legally and he's doing things in a legal manner. So at the CRL Commission, he was just there, gave what he could.
Was there arrogance about him? Is that what you found?
Slightly, yeah. There was quite a slight
now he's pulled out the big gun, Barry Roo, Advocate Barry Roo, to defend him, as we've been reporting this morning, for his bail application. I think we expect the prosecutors to be opposing bail.
Absolutely. We are expecting the NPA to be opposing bail, because this is a joint thing between the NPA and the Hawks. We are expecting them to oppose bail, but of course Barry Roo is going to fight that he does get bail. The main thing why it was postponed to today is the passport issue. The Hawks had requested passports, their passports, Bushiri and his wife, they requested their passports and they only got them on Monday. So they needed to verify that they are legal and that they are here legally and their passports are still valid. That's when it was then postponed. But we are expecting for them to apply for bail, and they probably will actually get bail and be released, and will then have a trial date set, and all of that will then happen.
Gosh. Okay, well, we'll continue to watch this fascinating case and the case around Shepherd Bushiri. Tshepatsho Mahi keeping an eye. She'll be checking out the bail application for us today.